I am going to talk about masculinity, and I'm going to talk about how much I fucking hate the phrase masculinity as it is used today. I was going to say I hate the word masculinity. I don't actually hate the word. I hate how it's used, okay? Masculinity is meant to mean, that which is relating to the male and not the female. As far as that goes, it's fine. Problem is, there are a lot of distortions of this word. Number one, it's used as a marketing word. It's used to make you feel inferior. It's used to sell you shit. Number two, it is treated as though it's inherently a good thing or a prescriptive thing, that by being male, you should be masculine. You know the most masculine place I can possibly think of? A fucking prison, okay? That's the outgrowth. That's what ends up happening if you follow the prescription that which is more masculine is better in all cases, okay? It is not a prescriptive set of behaviors. Defining something as masculine is saying that this is how males have tended to behave historically, or this is a behavior that is more often executed by men than by women, fair enough. But to say that it's better because it's masculine, or even it's better for men because it's masculine, is not necessarily true. So treating it as true is a problem. And finally, my issue with the word masculinity is that the type of people who use the word masculinity are the least masculine people I can imagine, okay? I have never once in my life heard a truly masculine man talk about masculinity unless they work in self-help and they're basically forced to because their following wants them to do something in masculinity. I cannot imagine like two badass MMA fighters talking about oh, what's more masculine? I can imagine them going out and fucking doing something, but I can't imagine them talking about it. All right, so that's a lot of different ideas. Let's unpack these one by one by one. First off, the idea that of what is masculine and what is feminine, what is male and what is female. There obviously are differences between male and female, okay? Men can grow facial hair, women can't. Men have penises, women don't, okay? And there are different sexual strategies that are kind of forced upon men and women based on this fact, and there are different survival strategies and replication strategies forced upon men and women by this fact, okay? By the nature of it, it's more likely that women are going to be at home taking care of children. By the nature of it, it's going to be more likely that men are out fighting. And so the male objectives to achieve are going to be, tend to be more with physical strength, more violent and forceful, whereas the female objectives are going to have a lot more to do with caregiving. They're going to have a lot more to do with sort of political maneuvering and status within a tribe, that sort of a thing, okay? So based on that, there are objectives that are traditionally male and objectives which are traditionally female. However, what we've come to be as humanity is what makes us survive. And the goals for men are different than the goals for women, but the goals for every human being that's ever existed is to survive and get their genes into the next generation, right? And that's what the goal is. And there are times when for a male behaving in a very masculine way, fighting a war may be the way to do it. There are times when for a male behaving in a very feminine way, politicking, currying favor, taking care of offspring may be the way to do it. And to think that absolutely male should behave in a masculine way and women should behave in a feminine way is very much not right and not the case, okay? And again, that prescriptive idea leads to the idea that, that men should be uber masculine, which, by the way, being violent and responding to everybody stepping up to you with stepping up back, etc., will end you up in prison, okay? Even within men, there's sort of a bell curve of behavior. There's the average amount of masculinity, the extreme masculinity will end you up in prison, the extreme femininity, which, is going to lead you to be very unassertive, probably not stand up for yourself and be walked all over in life. What you'd actually like is sort of a reasonable amount somewhere in the middle of the bell curve of masculinity. And more importantly, what you'd like to be is flexible in your strategy. So you can adopt a masculine strategy when necessary and a feminine strategy when necessary, okay? So within the scope of what would I consider masculine and feminine behaviors, or masculine and, let's not say masculine and feminine, let's say masculine and non-masculine behavior. Here's what I would say. I don't even like the word masculine. I like effective and ineffective behavior. So effective behavior is I have a desire, I do the thing that gets me that outcome. Ineffective behavior is I have a desire and I don't do what gets me that outcome. And specifically, a lot of these things are I have a desire, but I care more about what other people think about me, or I care more about how it looks than about achieving, right? And when you're getting caught up with that kind of stuff, when you're getting caught up with perception, that's when you're being the least masculine, and more importantly, the least effective. And my problem with masculinity is people that spend all this time thinking like, oh, if I do this, is it masculine? If I do this, is it masculine? Who the fuck cares? Who cares? Don't ask yourself if it's masculine. Ask yourself if it fucking gets you what you want in life. That's it. It's not, oh, is this masculine or feminine? Does it get me where I fucking want to go? Does it get me the life I want? If it does, take that action. If it doesn't, don't take that action. Simple as, okay? And this whole debate about masculinity, it leads to some dumb fucking arguments. Like, for example, is a bodybuilder masculine or feminine? On one hand, he's masculine because he's highlighting the traits that are most male, i.e. this muscle definition. On the other hand, he's feminine because he's concerned with aesthetics and he shaves his body. Is he masculine or feminine? Who the fuck cares? Ask yourself, is he getting what he wants in life? Is he happy, right? That's what you should ask yourself. If he's doing that, good for him. If he's not doing that, then not so good for him, all right? But who the fuck cares if he's doing it by being masculine or feminine? Focus on outcomes rather than fucking labels. Which finally brings us to this idea of masculinity as a marketing term. Almost every time you hear the word masculinity, there's this idea that you need to be more masculine, or you need to get more in touch with your masculinity, or you need this, you need that, you need the other. The idea being you're not enough as you are, and the solution is masculinity. As we've already discussed, masculinity is not the ultimate solution. It's not the solution in all cases. There are times when taking a more feminine approach is the right answer. Let's say that you are in a fight, you're in a war, and you're bunkered in relatively safely, and someone calls you out, you're like, hey, coward, come out and fight like a man. You step out, you fight like a man, you get killed. Well, you did the masculine thing, and you ended up fucking dead, all right? In that moment, cowering back behind your wall and doing the feminine, cowardly thing was the right thing to do, because it led you to your objective, all right? And so the problem with blindly being like, oh, I need to be masculine at all times, no, you need to be effective at all times. And when people tell you, be masculine, be masculine, be masculine, they're assuming that this is the one universal, overall, overarching strategy, and they're trying to give you this idea that if you're not masculine, you're not enough, or you're weak, or you're falling short in some way. May not be the case. There are a lot of ways to be very feminine and achieve very masculine aims. Take, for example, the club promoter who's dressed in a purple suit with a little pocket square, and is fucking more girls than probably you, me, or anyone we know. All right? There are guys like this. All right? Is that masculine or feminine? I'd say that's masculine as fuck. Right? That guy is masculine as fuck because he is achieving the most masculine goal possible. He is fucking girls left, right, and center. All right? So this idea that you have to be masculine or there's something wrong with you if you're not masculine is a very useful marketing idea. And almost everybody who talks about getting in touch with your masculinity, understanding your masculinity, they are selling you something, okay? They're selling you something. They're saying, oh, you're inferior, you're not enough because you're not masculine, so learn from me to be more masculine in order to pay me money, basically, all right? It's a very useful marketing word. It's a word that technically it does have a meaning, but the way that it is used is more for emotion, more for, say, connotation than denotation, as in for the effect it has on you emotionally rather than its literal meaning. So it's a word that has been bastardized, misused, and is used in a very, very manipulative way the vast majority of times it is used, which is why I abhor the word as it is used today. Wait, before I go, there's one more thing I want to talk about that fucking pisses me off, all right? I talked about masculinity, which is an abuse of a word. Now I want to talk about masculine energy, which is just the most bullshit word or bullshit phrase you could possibly imagine. There is no such thing as masculine energy. There is energy. Energy has a definition. If I drop something from this height and it hits the ground, it will release a certain amount of energy. If I burn something, it will power a car for this amount of distance, okay? That's the definition of energy. Energy is not masculine or feminine. Your car, your combustion engine is not like burning like blue colored when you use it in a monster truck and pink colored when you use it in a fucking Volkswagen Bug, all right? There's no masculine and feminine fucking energy. There's just energy and there are objectives. So anyone who says masculine energy to you, please, please, please run the other way as soon and as fast as possible. There is no such